Good evening and welcome to Mount Pleasant Area High School for tonight's game between your Mount Pleasant Vikings and the Highland Rams.
I am Mackenzie Leader alongside Alex Ham. For the next 4 quarters, we will be bringing you the play-by-play for what we expect to be an exciting contest.
Yes, Mackenzie, it has been an exciting year for the Mount Pleasant Area Vikings. They have secured a spot in the playoffs in the game against Derry last week. But they are a young team, but they are depth on the bench and are struggling to stop on the offensive side. Defensively, they tend to find themselves taking too many fouls. But overall, they remain as a strong team and a challenge to beat. Additionally, with them being a young team, they have their ups and downs.
I agree with you, Alex. This is the 3rd game this week, so they have to stay mentally strong. They have to be mentally tired and physically tired, but they have to stay mentally strong. Now, here are some stats for the Highland Rams. They have 3 good seniors on their team. Their numbers are 23, which is Luke Cochran, 20, Chris Johnny, and 11 Corey Myers. Their conference record is 7-1, and their overall record is 17-2.
Head coach Alan Belinsky said last game Jacob Johnson got his 1,000 points against Derry, and they won in overtime to make it to playoffs. But their tactic for tonight's game is to shadow their 3 senior standouts and prevent them from controlling the inside of the court. And now we're turning it over to PA announcer Matt Gross for starting lineups.
Welcome back to the tip-off of tonight's contest. At the center circle, we have Luke Brandier for the Mount Pleasant Vikings and
It's one.
number 1, Jimmy Kunst.
No, it's going to be 20.
Correction, Johnny Chris
Number 20.
at the center circle.
One of their starting seniors.
That is one of their starting and strong seniors that we said earlier.
Also, this is stuck on my finger. This is going to be a challenging game tonight for the Vikes. Highland has a pretty impressive record, don't you say, Mackenzie?
I agree with that. Mount Pleasant just needs to keep their head in the game no matter the score. Looks like Luke won the tip-off for them. Tyler Salvatore with the ball now.
Miss Carter.
This is Carter.
And it looks like for the Vikes, J.J. Johnson had a pass to Jonas, and Jonas was able to keep control of it, but it's back to J.J. Johnson. Looks like Highland's defense is pretty strong and aggressive.
Yeah, it looks like J.J. Johnson can't get inside the paint as strong as he usually does, but he dishes it back off to Tyler Salvatore at the top of the key. Tyler Salvatore trying to make a move, finds Luke. Luke finds Jonas inside the paint. Jonas tries for a 2 but misses, and it looks like the Rams get the rebound.
23 for the Rams now currently has the ball. And that's one of their seniors again, Luke Cochran. Any pass? I'm not quite sure what that move was there, but it ended with the Highlands scoring 2 points. Tyler Salvatore for the Vikes now has the ball, and he passes it over to Nick Urechko, who passes over to J.J. Johnson. And it looks like J.J. Johnson was called for going out of bounds.
It looks like the Rams' vertical jumps are pretty high.
Well, they're already pretty high vertical-wise.
Number 1 with the ball now for the Rams, and that's Jimmy Kunst. 23 with the ball now. Kunst has the ball again. Looks to Luke Kuchin, number 11, and that is Corey Myers. Shoots a 3 and makes it. Luke has the ball now for the Mount Pleasant Vikings. Gives it to J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson finds Jonas King, and he sinks a 2 in the paint. Number 1 with the ball now for the Rams.
For the Rams, number 1 is actually a freshman on the team starting for JV. And the Rams attempted to score, but it looks like a whistle was blown on that. Foul called on the Vikings. Player 35, which is Jonas King with his first foul of the night, putting the fouls on the board. 50 for the Rams is going to take these 2 shots. And he does get the first one in, bringing it up to Highland 6, Vikes 2.
Looks like that is Joaquim Roman. And he sinks his second one. Luke Brandier with the ball now at our baseline. Tyler Salvatore getting pressed by number 23. That is Luke Cochin. But Tyler Salvatore finds Luke Brandier. J.J. Johnson tries driving inside the paint for a 2. He misses, and it hits off the Ram. And the Rams have the ball now. Number 23, Kuchin, passes it to number 11. Number 11 drives inside the paint. Jonas King draws his second foul.
That foul is actually on Luke Brandier. And it looks like the Rams have possession of the ball. 20 passing it over to 23. Pass it to 11. And 11 shot bounces off the rim and into the hands of the Vikes. But Rams again gain control of it with Price, Johnny passing it over to 23, Cochran. Cochran does a gentle pass more so to 1 Kunst for the Rams. Tyler's on him for defense though, but he passes it over to 20, 23 in the corner. Another long pass over to 11, and back to 1. But they do lose control of the ball.
Number 1 now with the ball at the Mount Pleasant Vikings baseline, trying to look for an open player. Finds number 20, dishes it off to number 11. 11 tries a shot, but dishes it off to 23. 23 finds 50. 20 goes for an easy 2.
He basically placed the ball in the hoop with his height. But Tyler Salvatore now has the ball for the Vikes. Looks.
How are we saying his name? Number 11, Corey Myers scored another 2. It looks like he picked off a pass from the Mount Pleasant Vikings.
But now we're heading into a timeout with Highlands at 11, Vikes at 2. So even though the Vikes are a little bit down in the beginning, they have been doing pretty good. Their game last weekend at Derry was pretty impressive. They won in overtime, and J.J. Johnson got 1,000 points last game.
That's definitely exciting from Mount Pleasant Vikings just in general all around the board because, as you can see, the last person to score 1,000 points was in 2014. That was Ryan Gambita.
It was such an impressive game at Derry that our student section actually stormed the court while at Derry, not at home. And it was Trojan night, so it was definitely an interesting affair. But we're back, timeout's over, and the starters are back on the court. Looks like no team made adjustments to anyone.
Alex, it looks like the Mount Pleasant Vikings are having a little bit of hard trouble with the Rams pressing, but we tried to go for an easy 2, but Jonas King hits it right off the rim. Number 20 tries going up for the Rams and misses.
And the whistle was blown to the maybe not liking of our student section, it sounds. And it will be number 20 for the Rams, Johnny Christ, a senior, taking these shots. And the foul was called on 35. Jonas King giving him his second foul for the night.
But Mount Pleasant with the pressing, the Rams with the pressing against Mount Pleasant really early in this game. But it looks like Mount Pleasant cannot seem to figure out how to break that line and get inside the paint easily.
I definitely agree. But it's only the first period, so maybe they'll find a way to work around it later on in the game. But J.J. Johnson currently is working his way up toward the ball, but he did lose control. But Nick Urechko is able to get it back. And Luke goes for a shot, but does miss. Tyler Salvatore for the Vikes hits the ground pretty hard, but he gets up and seems to continue on just fine. Good job, Tyler. And it looks like Lucas Tui for the Vikes is putting it back in. And it looks like 2 substitutions for the Rams has occurred. 14, Carter Leary, and 10, Tony McDaniel is now in for the Rams. But Vikes have possession of the ball. Tyler Salvatore working his way up court.
Looks like the Rams are putting 3 up top now, pressing the Mount Pleasant Vikings pretty high. So it's going to be hard to find an open player, and the Rams are doing very good on defense. 23 passes to 11 inside the paint, but Luke blocks that shot. Tyler Salvatore driving inside the paint, looks for J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson shoots a 3, but it rolls off the rim, and the Mount Pleasant Vikings cannot get the rebound. 11 going for a 2, but it looks like J.J. Johnson blocks that shot. Number 11 goes for a 3, misses, and Nick Urechko and the Mount Pleasant Vikings try to regain the ball, but it looks like the Rams, they seem to be getting all the rebounds. And that will be a foul called on number 23. That will be Luke's second foul. And number 20, Johnny Christ, will be taking the shots.
The Rams seem to have a very, very aggressive strategy, both on offense and defense.
It seems like the Rams have a very fast pace, and the Mount Pleasant Vikings need to try to balance that out and just play their game and make the Rams fit to their game.
I definitely agree, but the Vikes do need to step it up a bit. Maybe get a little faster, more aggressive, more defensive to try to get a hold on the game. But Tyler Salvatore for the Vikes has possession of the ball, passes it over to Lucas, and Lucas dishes it back to Tyler. Tyler's gets about half court before he passes over to J.J. Johnson, who does a long pass over to Nick Urechko in the corner. But the Rams are able to get control of the ball again with 23. Luke Cochran taking the ball.
J.J. Johnson with the ball now, crossing half court. J.J. Johnson tries juking off number 14, and that is Carter Leary. And it looks like J.J. will get his foul, and it looks like that was on number 14, which is Carter Leary, and that will be his first foul, which brings the foul count to Mount Pleasant Vikings 4 and the Rams 2. Tyler Salvatore looks to Luke Brandier to try and get something started, but Tyler tries giving it to Lucas Tui, but completely overthrows Lucas Tui, but it will remain white ball.
Looks like a foul was called on player 20 for the Rams, possibly for pushing. And J.J. Johnson passes it into Tyler Salvatore, who has 14 on him. He's able to work around and pass it over to Luke, who goes for a shot and does sink it in nicely, adding 2 points on the board for the Vikings. Highlands 14, Vikes 4. But Rams have possession of the ball again. 23 passes it over to 20, who does a dunk hanging off the rim. Highlands 16, Vikes 4. But Vikes have possession of the ball once more, passing between Tyler Salvatore and Lucas Tui. Tyler Salvatore working his way up court, and a pass was blocked by one of the Rams. 20 goes for yet another dunk. What a tall dude. And a timeout was called after that second dunk. Well, Mackenzie, we see there's...
This is going to be a tough contest for the Mount Pleasant Vikings, but they need to keep their head in the game. The score seem to be getting away and out of control on Mount Pleasant's hands, but they need to keep their head in the game and just focus on the task at hand.
I definitely think I definitely agree with you. I think they just need to kind of maintain their fundamentals, get a little more aggressive, a little bit more quicker on the court. It does appear Tyler Salvatore, a junior, is taking a lot of the shots and a lot of the balls. Don't you think, Mackenzie?
I definitely agree. Tyler Salvatore and J.J. Johnson just need to figure out that pressing that the Rams do and pick through them so they can get inside the paint and find open players a lot easier than what they're doing. And also for the Mount Pleasant Vikings, instead of taking those hard threes, they need to drive to the hoop more and just get the easy twos. Because at this point, we need as much points as we can get.
Looks like as that timeout ends, we go back on the courts. Highlands at 18, Mount Pleasant's at 4. And J.J. Johnson's going to put the ball back in, pass it over to Lucas Tui, pass it over to Tyler Salvatore, manages to keep it away from the defense from the Rams, who gets it to J.J. J.J. hard and long pass over to 3 for the Vikes, but was not able to maintain control of that pass. And the ball did go out of bounds, and Laurel Highlands was able to put it back into play, giving it over to 1, Jimmy Kunst. Kunst passes it over to 23, Cochran, who passes it back to Kunst, back to Cochran, and that pass to the Rams did go out of bounds.
Lucas Tui with the ball now at the Vikings half of the court. Tyler Salvatore now with the ball, trying to find an open player. Tyler Salvatore drives to the hoop, tries to find Luke. Luke cannot get it in the hoop, but ends up drawing a foul, which is good for the Mount Pleasant Vikings. And exactly what Tyler Salvatore just did there, that is what Mount Pleasant Vikings need to do a lot more of. But that foul was on number 50, Joaquim Roman. That will be his second foul. Luke Brander gets 2 shots. He misses his first one. Substitutions have occurred. Jonas King has come in for Trevor Mason. It looks like Luke missed his second shot too. These are the shots that we need to make if we're going to stay into this game. These easy twos need to go in. 20 tries going up, but Luke blocks his shot again, and that was Johnny Christ. Tyler Salvatore drives to the hoop and tries to find an open player, but Johnny Christ just blocked his pass. Luke tries to get a stab in, and he misses, and number 10, Antone McDaniel, goes for 3 and makes it. That makes the score Highland Rams 21, Mount Pleasant Vikings 4.
And there's a little less than 1 minute left in the first period with that score remaining. And Rams still possession of the ball. It was blocked, but a whistle was blown. Looks like it's going to be a foul on Lucas Tui for the Vikes.
And Tyler Salvatore just got...
JJ. Sorry, our bad. The foul was actually called on JJ Johnson, his first foul of the night.
But the same thing that happened to Tyler Salvatore, he got double teamed. He took too much time on the ball to find an open player. They need to get the ball and get out as quickly as possible.
I definitely agree. And it does look like Highlands did do a few substitutions, bringing out at least 11 Myers. For 31, Trent Bilak, who's a junior. And Mount Pleasant Vikes have possession of the ball. Lucas Tui trying to work his way up court. Whistle was blown. I'm assuming they went out of bounds. And it looks like for Highland Rams, 31, Bilak, who just got substituted in, will be passing it over to Kuntz. Kuntz is about at half court, working his way up, passes it over to 14, passes to 31. 20 gets the ball again, but he does go out, and it's going to be back into White's possession.
The Vikings need to take less time on the ball and find the open person as soon as possible. Just pass around this pressing defense and try to find the open gaps, like they just did there. Number 10, Nick Urechko, gives it to Luke, number 23. JJ Johnson tries driving inside, finds Luke Brandier, and he sinks it too. That is the type of plays that the Mount Pleasant Vikings need to run a lot more.
I definitely agree with you, Mackenzie. Hopefully we can see more of that in the second period, since we only have about 5 seconds left in the first period. And there was a clean shot from player 1 for the Highlands, bringing it to Highlands 26, Vikes 6, and Highlands 26, Vikes 6 will be the end score of the first period as we head into the second period of the game. So, Mackenzie, what do you think the Vikes are going to try doing for the second period to improve their scores?
I definitely think that the Mount Pleasant Vikings need to pass a lot more around their defense and just break their defense down that way, because taking the ball and driving it, especially in Mount Pleasant's territory, trying to get in the Rams territory, that's not working. They're shutting that down every time that they try to do it. So I think once they're in Rams territory, try driving as fast as possible to the hoop and get inside the paint for an easy 2.
I definitely agree with you, Mackenzie. Hopefully the Vikes will be able to change up and mix up their strategy and get more points on the board. I'm assuming Tyler Salvatore is still going to remain a leader on the court as we head into the next part of the game. Tyler Salvatore Jr., I feel like he usually doesn't, I don't want to say step up as much, but usually doesn't control the balls in this much in a game. This is one of the first games he's really taking charge and really trying to score for the Vikes.
I agree with you, and I also think that the Rams are trying to take out J.J. Johnson as much as possible and take out Luke Brandier's dunks and easy layups that they do. I think that was the Rams' tactics definitely for this night.
I definitely agree. And before we go into the second period, it is worth mentioning Jacob Bungard and Logan Allen, who do JV and varsity for Mount Pleasant Vikings, are here tonight. Last week they were in a pretty bad car accident, but they're here tonight feeling better, so good to them.
Anybody that's watching that did pray for them and their families, we do thank you, and we are happy that they're back here tonight.
Back to the game, the Rams do possession of the ball. 23 goes up, but it was blocked, and the ball does go home. Looks like the Rams is calling out Michigan C or G. I'm not quite sure what he said. Hopefully that's something we can work around. But 23 does go for a shot, but it does bounce off the rims, and JJ does get the ball.
JJ Johnson drives into Rams territory with no press, actually. Nick Urechko trying to juke out his defender, find an open player. Luke looks for a shot, but passes it off to JJ Johnson. JJ Johnson trying to find an open gap. JJ Johnson tries driving inside, but passes it to Lucas Tui. Lucas Tui with nowhere to go, but tries driving inside, but now looking for an open player. It looks like the Mount Pleasant Vikings are doing a lot better job holding the ball and containing as much possession as possible.
I definitely agree with you, Mackenzie. Already with only a minute into the second period, I think their gameplay has improved. And it looks like another foul was called on the court, possibly. Yes, and it was on player 20.
Probably should stay with
who is Johnny Christ for the Rams, and this is his second foul.
Which brings the foul count equal.
So both have 5. And it looks like Luke are going to take these foul shots. Luke Brandier does get his first one in, and he gets ready for the second one. It does appear 20 for the Rams was taken out after that second foul.
The Mount Pleasant Vikings just need to keep their head in the game as much as possible and don't worry about the score. Just worry about what they need to do to break down the Rams. But saying that Luke makes his second shot. Number 11 going for a 3 right now. Bounces off the rim. Luke tries to secure the ball, but it bounces right off of his hand. He looks to number 14 and Jonas King blocks number 14. That is Carter Leary. His shot, but it looks like Carter Leary and Jimmy Kunst trying to press as much as they can. And Nick Urechko looks like he stepped out of bounds. I think Nick Urechko was going a little too fast for his liking, and he just lost control.
I do agree, but this game needs to be fast-paced, or I don't think the Vikes will be able to score as much as I wish to. So at least Nick was at least trying to move along fast. But the Rams do possession of the ball, and 1, Kunst has it, currently passes it over to 11. Myers passing it into 23, tries to go for 2, but does get blocked. J.J. Johnson and Lucas Tui passing it back and forth between each other, working their way up court. J.J. does pass it over to Luke Brandier. But a whistle was blown on that shot. But it looks like Lucas Tui for the Vikes will be passing it back in. He does have a Rams defender pretty tight on him, though. He's probably looking past JJ, and he does. JJ Johnson currently has the ball, looking for an opening whether to shoot or to pass to someone.
JJ Johnson trying to juke out number 0, which is Chandler Thimmons. But Lucas Tui has the ball now. Back to Luke Brandier. J.J. Johnson with the ball. J.J. Johnson tries driving inside but gets double teamed, which leaves Jonas King open. Jonas King looks for Luke, and Luke sinks his 2. Number 1 with the ball now, Jimmy Kunst for the Rams, who is guarded by Lucas Tui and Luke Brandier. And they poke the ball away, but it runs out of bounds too quickly for them to take.
It looks like Coach Blonsky was trying to give a play advice to Jonas King while the Rams put the ball back in play. 10 passing it over to 1. 1's about at half court looking for an open player, looking for an open shot. It looks like he is putting his players in position. 11 comes around to the corner, but was blocked and passes over to 10. 10 passes 23, but was blocked by JJ, so the Vikes do possession of the ball once more. JJ Johnson working his way up court, looking for a shot. And there was 3 attempts from the Vikes there to score, but none were successful.
But it looks like Jonas King gets a foul for him, and that was on number 1. That is Jimmy Kunst, and that is his first foul. Jimmy Kunst is also a freshman along with Chandler Thimmons, and they are both on the court right now. That means that the Rams all around, freshman through senior, are pretty well equipped for this game.
The Rams do have a very strong basketball team, at least on the boys' sides. I can't speak anything for the girls' Rams, but I'm sure they're just as good. And Jonas King's first shot does bounce off the rim, so no points for the Vikes there. He steps up for a second shot, and a few substitutions on the Rams' side did occur. J.J. Johnson's waiting up court as Jonas does his second shot, and it does cleanly go in. And the Rams have the ball, 23 working his way up court, looking for someone to pass to. And that person is 11, but 11 passes it back to 23.
Alex, a good thing to mention, which we didn't see at first, but Tyler Salvatore is not on the court. It looks like Lucas Tui and Nick Urechko are on the court for this second period. I don't think Tyler Salvatore has been in.
I think you're right, Mackenzie. That kind of just flew right past us while the game was happening. But I do believe you are right.
Number 20, Johnny Christ goes for a 2, and it cleanly goes in.
But speaking of Tyler Salvatore, it does look like he is waiting to be subbed in. Probably pulling Nick Urechko out. Jonas King able to get the ball and pass it over to J.J. Johnson. There's a long pass over to Lucas Tui. Lucas Tui goes for a nice shot, but it's off the rim, bounces. Vikes did get the rebound, but the ball does go out of bounds. And we were correct, Tyler Salvatore is coming in for Nick Urechko, both juniors.
Johnny Christ with the ball now and is throwing it into Luke Cochran. Luke Cochran with the ball now. Just at the half-court line, trying to get something motivated for his team. He looks to number 50, looks for number 20, and number 20 gets blocked by Luke Brandier. No, Tyler Salvatore has the ball now in Rams territory. Tyler Salvatore dishes it off to J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson with the ball now. Tries driving inside the paint. Looks to Luke Brandier. He shoots a 3 and makes it.
Following that, 23 for the Rams. Luke Cochran gets control of the ball. Does a nice pass over to 50, but was blocked by Luke. And then Luke proceeded to block him again, pretty aggressively, may I add. And that was a foul called on Luke Brandier, bringing it up to his 3rd foul for the night. With Mount Pleasant Vikes having 6 fouls, Laurel Highland Rams having 7. And 50 for the Vikes sets up for his shots. And it does bounce off the rim, but still goes in. And he sets up for his 2nd shot.
Luke has to be careful because that is his 3rd foul, and he still has another half to go in.
A whole another half, and he gets pretty aggressive, I feel, as the game goes on.
I definitely agree, and as the game's going on, Luke is getting better at each time.
I do agree. He is one of the younger players, so there's always lessons to be learned. But following that, Vikes get possession of the ball briefly, but it's back into Rams possession with one Coons controlling the ball at the moment. Passes it over to 23, Luke Cochran, back over to 1. And it seems to be going around. Nicely, Rams do go for a shot, but it did bounce off the rim, miss. 20 probably was looking for a 2, but was unable to get that. 1 for the Rams also was unable to score, bringing the ball back into Vikes possession with J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson does try to score, but no good there. But there was a foul called on one of the Rams player, bringing up to 8 fouls for the Laurel Highland Rams. And it was called on 23, Luke Cochran. It was his 1st foul for the night. And J.J. Johnson's going to set up for his 2 shots.
I think the Mount Pleasant Vikings, especially this quarter, have definitely gotten better with breaking down that pressing line and just passing around their defense to get inside the paint.
I definitely agree. And the score says that Laurel Highlands 31, Vikes 15. There has definitely been improvements during this period.
I definitely agree. I think they're looking for the easier shot of all of them, and I think that's definitely helping them in the long run.
I agree. JJ sets up for a 2nd shot. Looks like Nick Urechko is waiting on the sidelines, waiting to be subbed in for the Mount Pleasant Vikes. Cheerleaders doing their jazz fingers, hoping the ball goes in. And JJ's 2nd shot does go in, bringing it up to Laurel Highlands 31. And the Vikings 16. I think it's a jazz finger.
Number 1, Jimmy Kunst, has the ball now at half court, trying to find an open player. Passes it to number 23, Luke Cochran, who passes it inside the paint. Jimmy Kunst has the ball now, goes for a 2 and makes it. J.J. Johnson passes it in to Tyler Salvatore. There is no pressing from the Rams here, so the J.J. Johnson and Tyler Salvatore can get a breath while crossing at the half court. J.J. Johnson passes it back to Tyler Salvatore, back to J.J. Johnson, back to Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore looks for Lucas Tui in the corner, passes it back to J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson now trying to make something happen. J.J. Johnson shoots a 3, it misses and hits right off the rim, but Lucas Tui grabs the rebound and is back outside the paint. J.J. Johnson has the ball now. Nick Urechko has the ball, finds Jonas King. Jonas King finds Lucas Tui. Lucas Tui drives inside the paint for a 2, and it is short, and it hits off the rim. Number 1 with the ball now passes it to number 10, Antonia McDaniel. Misses, and Mount Pleasant Vikings get the ball back, but J.J. Johnson passes away over the head of Lucas Tui.
And it's worth mentioning when we do a little pause here, Channel 4 is actually here tonight in our school, in our gym, taking some shots for their own channel tonight. So Mount Pleasant will be on the local news, which is pretty exciting for them. They are here, 1, for the boys basketball team, and 2, because Logan Allen and Jacob Bungard both are here and recovered from their accident. That was a pretty big breaking news story last week. Channel 4 here is taking some shots for that. Again, wishing good recovery still to the boys and all the other children that were involved in the accident. There was actually 6 students from Mount Pleasant involved in an accident last week. But they all seem to be doing well, recovering on their own time. Back to the game.
Nick Urechko has the ball now. Dishes it off to Lucas Tui. Lucas Tui finds Tyler Salvatore, who finds J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson finds Lucas Tui, back to Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore trying to get something made in the paint, but it won't happen. Goes to J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson trying to find an open player. Finds Lucas Tui. Lucas Tui tries driving inside, but is denied by 2 of the Rams. J.J. Johnson tries driving inside, looks to Jonas King. Jonas King misses, but J.J. Johnson tries getting the rebound and putting it back in, but the Rams get the ball again, with Luke passing it to number 11. 1 passes it to 14. 14 tries driving inside the paint, misses, and that was because of Jonas King blocking the shot. Jonas King passes it to J.J. Johnson, who passes it to Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore trying driving inside the paint, but passes it back to J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson trying to make something happen in these seconds left in this period. Tyler Salvatore now has the ball, but a foul has been called with 0.2 seconds left in the second period. Tyler Salvatore gets to take 2 shots.
And we have Tyler Salvatore setting up for some foul shots. Looks like a foul was called on 14, getting him 2nd foul for the night. And Tyler Salvatore sets up. The cheerleaders are doing their spirit fingers. and he does sink it in cleanly. And Tyler Salvatore does set up for a 2nd shot, and more Spirit Fingers, and it does go in. Thanks, Spirit Fingers. Making it Laurel Highlands 33, Mount Pleasant Vikes 18 for the end of the second period, bringing us into the next half. Stay tuned for a halftime interview.
Water out of the booth.
The concession stand.
Coach.
Hello, Coach Valinsky. What are your strategies for closing the gap score-wise in the second half?
Just play basketball. We played the worst first quarter, I think, of the year for us. They hit a lot of shots. We just were not very good. Second quarter, we went 12-6 in the second quarter. We won that quarter. We just got to win the next 2 quarters. That's all.
And how do you encourage your team to stay motivated and stay up in this situation?
We're going to grind this one to get back into. So we're going to grind, because we're just as good as this team.
Well, good luck to you in the second half.
Orlando, what do you got to say?
We're gonna be hard. So this inning, we have ball and I like my coaches and my players and my heart is I love my friend JJ. He's a very great player. He always broke a record many times we played Derry.
Those are some good words, Landon. Thanks, bro. High five. Nice. And stay tuned for the second half of the Mount Pleasant Vikings game. And we are back to our game into the second half of the game. Currently, the Rams have possession of the ball. 20 looking for a shot, but he passes it over to 1 for the Rams.
It looks like the Mount Pleasant defense is holding on number 20 pretty well. So it looks like number 20 has to dish the ball over, but number 1 shoots a 3 and misses, and the Mount Pleasant Vikings try for the rebound. Number 1 has the ball now, and that is Jimmy Kunst. Passes it to 23. 23 passes it to 20. And looks like a foul has been called. And it looks like the foul, or maybe no foul. I don't know, that was a bit of confusion, but J.J. Johnson has the ball now. Trying to gain control, passes it to Lucas Tui. Lucas Tui passes it to Nick Urechko. Nick Urechko tries for a 3, and it bounces off the rim. And the Rams have the ball now with number 23. That is Luke Cochran. Looks like Luke Cochran, looks like a charge happened. And that is his second foul. J.J. Johnson has the ball now at his baseline. J.J. Johnson trying to find an open player with number 1 and number 23 pressing high on Lucas Tui and Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore needs to pass the ball a little bit quicker, finds Lucas Tui. J.J. Johnson tries Nick Urechko. Nick Urechko tries for a 3 and makes it.
But due to a long pass, it looks like the ball was knocked out of bounds pretty hard by Tyler Salvatore.
Looks like the Rams are struggling a little bit this quarter, and that's not like them. It looks like they play a high-paced game, but it looks like they can't keep up with themselves just a little bit.
I definitely agree. Maybe perhaps it was because the Rams kind of lowered their defense a little bit and the Vikings upped their game. It usually happens going into the second half of a game. Like one team gets too comfortable, and next thing you know, the other team's rising up. Little scuffle.
Looks
on
like
the far side of the court.
Yeah, it looks like Luka touched it out of bounds, so it will be Rams ball. Rams pass it to number 20. Number 20 tries for a 2 but misses, and the Mount Pleasant Vikings regain possession on the rebound. Number 12, J.J. Johnson tries to go for it, and he sinks a 2, and he also gets a foul, so he will have 2 shots. It looks like the Mount Pleasant Vikings are finally living up to Mr. Belinsky's intentions of grabbing the rebounds and setting a high-paced game for the Rams.
I definitely agree, and it looks like we are heading into a timeout. And the score is at Laurel Highland, 35, Mount Pleasant area at 23. So Mackenzie, how do you think the second half of the game's going?
I think it's definitely in favor of the Mount Pleasant Vikings. They just have to keep their heads in the game and stay hyped through this whole entire half.
Wisely said, Mackenzie. It looks like the timeout is ending, and our players are heading back out onto the court. Looks like we basically have the same group of boys out on the court for both teams. And we are starting with J.J. Johnson for the Vikes taking some foul shots because there was a foul called on player 50 for the Rams. And J.J. was able to get some points from that, closing the point gaps even more. 23 for the Rams gets the balls and does miss his shot. Rams got the rebound, but then Vikings were able to get the ball again. Rams are heading back up court with the ball. Number 1, Jimmy Kunst with it, passes it at 11. Corey Myers passes it to 23. 23 goes for a shot and does miss it. Rams try to get the rebound, and they do get the rebound. 20 setting up for a shot, and he does miss.
The Mount Pleasant Vikings get the ball because it looks like number 23, Luke Cochran, runs out of bounds with the ball. But it also looks like the Rams are having a little bit of trouble scoring those easy 2s like they did and 3s like they normally did in the first half. But the Mount Pleasant Vikings are shutting it down. Tries for Nick Urechko. Nick Urechko gives it back to Luke, who gives it back to J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson at the top of the key tries a 3, but it bounces off the rim, and the Rams get the rebound. Tyler Salvatore now on 23, who just is off the number 11. Number 20 with the ball, gives it to number 50. Number 50 tries passing it, and Tyler Salvatore picks it off, but number 1, Jimmy Kuntz, tries for it again, and he misses his 2. Looks like a foul was called on number 4. That will be his first foul. That was Lucas Tui.
Looks like for the Rams, we have 1 putting it back in, and 20 gets the pass.
J.J. Johnson steals the ball, and J.J. Johnson trying to get him into the pin, and he scores a 2. It looks like the Mount Pleasant defense is very strong and offense, and that is exactly what they need to close this gap and eventually win the game.
I definitely agree. I think the intensity and energy just in this game has definitely increased coming into the second half of the game. The Vikings have definitely stepped up and did improve their strategies. So whatever Coach Belinsky decided to change or told the boys, it's definitely working. And the Rams do have possession of the ball.
Looks like number 23, that is Luke Cochran, scores his 3. J.J. Johnson has the ball now, crossing half court. J.J. Johnson has the ball, trying to get in the zone, but passes it to Jonas King. Jonas King gets the ball back, gives it to Lucas Tui. Lucas Tui tries for it too. It rolls right off the rim, and Luke Cochran gets the ball back. Luke Cochran trying to drive inside the zone very fast. Jonas King completely blocks it, but it looks like a foul was called.
I'm not quite sure what happened down there, but it was a foul called on 35 for the Vikes, bringing it to his 3rd foul for the night. And 35, oh, that is Jonas King, so that's not as surprising, as Jonas King usually does rack up a decent amount of fouls. And 23 for the Rams does go his first shot, and it doesn't get in, but he has a second one.
Luke Cochran scores his second shot, but J.J. Johnson tries getting in quickly. Lucas Tui, but number 20 was blocked Lucas Tui's shot. Luke Cochran gets the ball, and Luke Cochran looks like he got another foul, and that was probably on J.J. Johnson. And that is correct. That is J.J. Johnson's second foul.
And 23 for Rams takes these 2 shots, and the first one does smoothly go in. The foul count for the second half of the game is at Vikes 4, Rams 2. 23 second shot is getting ready, and it does again cleanly go in. Laurel Highlands at 41, Vikes at 26.
Tyler Salvatore with the ball now, trying to cross in the Rams territory, but it looks like he is double teamed. Finds Lucas Tui, who passes it back to Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore finds Lucas Tui, who finds J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson tries going in, but J.J. Johnson gets a foul. That is Jimmy Kuntz, and that will be his second foul of the game.
And J.J. Johnson for the Vikes will be putting it back in. It looks to Tyler Salvatore for a pass. Lucas Tui sets up to receive the pass from Tyler and does receive it. Kind of moving back on the court. Quick pass over to J.J. Johnson. Looks like Vikings are getting in position for an offensive play. Tyler Salvatore gets the ball once more. Strong defense on him, but he gets around it and passes to Luke. Luke almost messes up a pass to JJ, but JJ is able to keep clean control of it and tries to pass over to Jonas King, it appears, but the Rams are able to block the pass and get control of it. 23 for the Rams, cleanly goes for a 3-point and does get it in, bringing up to Highlands 44, Vikes 26.
Looks like a timeout has been called for the Mount Pleasant Vikings. They were doing strong at the beginning of the period, but I feel like they just got tired out with the Rams' fast pace. But it looks like they need to maintain their fast-paced game and keep their head in the game through this whole entire.
During the timeout, I'm assuming both teams are kind of fixing up and cleaning up their strategy, with Highlands at 44 and Vikes at 26. Vikes have 4 fouls and Highlands has 3. And the timeout ends and the players going back on the court. Seems like it's roughly the same. 14. Carter Leary for Highlands is in. And it looks like for the Vikings, it is about the same group of boys out on the court. No. I definitely think the Vikes need to kind of tighten up their defense and get a little bit more aggressive on the offense and score maybe a few more before the period's over. And there's a little less than 3 minutes left in the third period. With Tyler Salvatore having possession of the ball, looking for a teammate to pass to, and he passes to J.J. Johnson.
J.J. Johnson drives it into the Rams players and grabs a foul. That was on number 23, Luke Cochran, and that is his 3rd foul of the game.
And it looks like there is substitution happening. Nick Urechko is coming in for Tyler Salvatore on the Viking side. And Lucas Tubey will be putting the ball into play. Lucas looks to someone to pass to, preferably, and it goes to Luke Brandier. Luke Brandier goes for a shot, and it does go in, adding 2 points to the Viking score. The Rams have possession of the ball again, and it looks like 10 passes to 14, passes to 1, and 1's looking for an opening or a possibility.
1 tries passing it to 10, but the Mount Pleasant Vikings poke that away, and J.J. Johnson with the ball now. Tries driving and skied, and he draws a foul, but his shot does not go in. Looks like the foul was on number 1, and that was Jimmy Kunst, and that is his 3rd foul.
Hey, if you're going to sit over here, you got to be quiet. You got to be quiet.
J.J. Johnson sinks his first shot. That brings the score to the Laurel Highland Rams. No, I'm sorry. Not Laurel Highland. Highland Rams, 44, and Mount Pleasant Vikings,
it's our
29.
Apologies if we did say Laurel Highlands at any point. This is simply just Highlands. This is just the Highlands High School, not Laurel Highlands. But J.J. Johnson goes second shot, does not go in. And 23 for Highlands does get the ball, passes over to 11. Myers does score some points for the Highland side, being at Rams 46, Vikes 29. JJ passes it up court to Nick Urechko, who passes across the court, or tries to pass it across the court to Lucas Tui. But 20 gets it for the Rams, and 20, Johnny Christ does set up for a slam dunk. Lucas Tui has the ball once more being passed to from J.J. Johnson, but J.J. Johnson got once more after Lucas dishes it to him. Some long passes. The Vikes and our very own slam dunk was able to curve. Brought to you by Luke Brandier. It definitely seems like in the last minute, both teams kind of stepped up their playing and are bringing way more energy into the game.
I definitely agree. As the game goes on, I think the intensity just rises just a little bit each time the passes go by, and it looks like Lucas Tui had the ball, but it looks like number 11, that is Myers, poked it out of bounds. J.J. Johnson with the ball now out of bounds, trying to find an open player. Looks like number 10 will stand in front of him, and that is Antone McDaniel. J.J. Johnson finds Jonas King. Jonas King tries a 3, and it rolls right off the rim, and the Rams get the ball again. Number 14 drives it inside, and that is Carter Leary. passes it to number 11, and he sinks a three. Lucas Tui with the ball now finds Nick Urechko. Nick Urechko finds Jonas King, who passes it back to Lucas Tui. Lucas Tui has the ball now, trying to drive inside the paint, juke out his defender. He finds Jonas King. Jonas King finds J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson shoots up for a two. It is knocked away, and the Rams will recover the ball. But the Rams player falls on the ground, and he traveled. That will be Carter Leary who traveled. Good defense by Jonas King.
With about 35 seconds left in the third period, if the Vikes are going to do anything, now is about the time to get it in motion before the fourth period rolls around.
I definitely agree. The score is Highlands 51, Mount Pleasant Vikings 31. The foul count is Highlands 5, Mount Pleasant 4.
JJ goes for a shot, and Jonas King does try to get the rebound, but it does play off into the Rams' hands. And the Rams do lose the ball, passing it back and forth between each other, whether they're trying to stall for time or going for another shot. Not sure yet. Looks like they're going to go for another shot. And it does go in cleanly for a three. With about 7 seconds left on the clock, the Vikes are working their way back up court. They're going to take a shot. And Nick Urechko does, but it does miss the hoop. But the whistle was blown with exactly 1 second left in the third period. And with only 1 second left on the opposite side of the court, the Rams were just able to kind of do a throwaway shot across the court.
Looks Mount Pleasant Vikings just needs to keep up with the Rams' intensity as much as possible and pretty much keep their defense and offense going as much as possible, because once they get their intensity going, the offense pretty much just finds the gaps in the Rams' defense. So as long as they can keep their head in the game and the intensity up and keep it with the Rams, they should be okay.
I definitely agree with you, Mackenzie. We'll just have to wait and see if either team changes up their strategy as we wait for the fourth period to begin. We apologize for any technical difficulties if sound wasn't going through for the past few minutes. Our mic may or may not have been off. But we are back. Hello. It is Highlands 59, Mount Pleasant area at 31. Not much has occurred yet during the fourth period, but both teams seem to be doing pretty strong, trying to up their game.
J.J. Johnson leans into number 14, that will be Carter Leary, and shoots a 2. Carter Leary with the ball now. Tries to find number 23, but Nick Urechko hits off. The pass hits off of Nick Urechko's leg. Eleven has the ball now, gives it to 10. 10 finds 11 again, finds Luke Cochran in the paint, dishes it off. And number 11 tries doing a long pass, but Luke Brandier pokes it out of bounds.
Does have possession of the ball. 10 passing it over to 14, passes it over to 50. 50 over to 11. 50 goes through 3, and it does go in cleanly.
J.J. Johnson passes it to Tyler Salvatore, number 14 on the Rams on Tyler Salvatore, pretty tight. Tyler Salvatore cannot find an open player. Nick Urechko gets open, who passes it off to Jonas King, back to Nick Urechko. Nick Urechko has the ball, passes it to Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore at the top of the key, trying to find an open player. He tries driving inside, but gives it to Luke. Luke tries driving inside, gives it to Jonas King. Jonas King tries, and it gets swatted away, but it looks like number 50 got a foul called on him. That will be his 4th foul. So number 50 has to watch out. He only has one more foul, and he is out.
It does look like a timeout was called.
Over there. Kenny.
While this timeout's going on, we have Logan Allen and Jacob Bungard
Guy over there looking to shoot you guys on the bench.
moving across the court, heading back over to their team bench. And we have our cheerleaders doing a fun cheer as we pass the time during halftime.
And it looks like when Highlands comes back on, number 50 is still on the court with with his 4 fouls. And it looks like Tyler Salvatore will have the ball at our baseline, and Tyler Salvatore tries finding an open player. Luke grabs the ball, tries for a 2, it rolls right off the rim. And the Rams have possession again. Number 10 passing half court, which is Anthony McDaniel. Passes it to number 11. Number 10 has the ball again. Number 10 passes it to 1, back to 10. 10 tries to give it to number 23, Luke Cochran, and it is poked away by Jonas King. But number 1 for the Rams regain possession. Number 11 now double teamed. Jonas King. J.J. Johnson tries guarding number 1, well passed back inside the paint, hits off of Jonas King's leg. Tyler Salvatore now rushing, tries giving it to Luke. Luke tries going for it.
And a whistle was blown. There does seem to be some disagreement between the players on the court. I'm not quite sure what happened. Mackenzie, did you catch what happened?
It looks like number 1 was blocking Luke Brandier from getting the ball, so a foul was called on number 1, and that is also number 1 is Jimmy Kuntz, and that is his 4th foul.
Luke Brandier does set up for his 2 shots. And the clean one, the first one does go in cleanly. He sets up for his second one. Despite it being number 1 and 50's 4th foul, they're both still in the game. No substitutions have occurred for either of the players. Luke's does go in. Daniels working his way up the court for Highlands. Passes it to 11, passes it to 23, over to 1. 1 gives it back over to 10.
Alex, another thing that we missed, number 20 for the Rams, which is mostly their strongest offensive player, is not on the court.
That is correct, Mackenzie. 20, Johnny Christ is missing from the Rams lineup out there right now.
And it looks like number 1 poked the ball out of bounds, so it will be Mount Pleasant's ball at their baseline.
Despite the Rams missing a key player on the court right now, I don't think it's really affecting them too much. I think their game plays so pretty much the same.
I agree. J.J. Johnson with the ball, passes it to Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore marked pretty tight by number 14. Tyler Salvatore finds J.J. Johnson, who finds Nick Urechko. Nick Urechko tries for a 3, and it is in. That brings the score to Highland Rams 62, Mount Pleasant Vikings 38. The foul count is Highland 7, Mount Pleasant 4. Number 14 with the ball now tries driving inside the paint. Number 1 with a 3, misses, and Tyler Salvatore gets the rebound. Tyler Salvatore now making his way up court, finds J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson trying to find an open teammate or an open lane, and it looks like J.J. Johnson will get another foul called. And that will be on number 23, and that is his 4th foul.
We have quite a few players out there now with four fouls, and it looks like Coach Blinsky took it upon himself to make sure he moved Nick Urechko into the right position. Actually, Fitchgate moving him. But the first shot does go in, and JJ sets up and waits for a second. Substitution is occurring. Jonas King is leaving the game. Bringing in, what's his name? 3.
Trevor Mason.
And JJ does a second shot and does cleanly go in. And some more substitutions are occurring. It looks like Luke Brandier is now out for JJ Johnson coming in. And did another substitution happen?
Number 50 with the ball now tries for a 2 and misses. J.J. Johnson tries going up for the rebound but misses. And number 23, Newt Cochran, finally puts the ball in the basket.
It looks like with about 3 minutes left in the 4th period, being down 24 points, Coach Blinsky might be trying some of his other players on the court. I see 2 Vikings on the sides waiting to be subbed in that don't usually get as much playing time. What's the one kid? It's Gabe and
Brian.
We now have 3 waiting on the sideline to be subbed in. It looks like a foul was just called on player 50 for the Highlands, making it his 5th foul.
So it looks like
now
number
out.
50 is put out. And it looks like the Highland Rams will only be playing with 4 players right now until number 0, Chandler Thimpson, comes in, which is in.
And it looks like there is a pretty big substitution happening for the Vikings. Looks like Tyler Salvatore and Nick Urechko left the court to bring in
Ryan.
Bringing
And
in
Aiden.
And it looks like we also have Gabe Tatters coming in for J.J. Johnson. So we have a completely different group of boys out on the court that we usually don't see out there.
With only 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in this basketball game. The Highlands don't seem like they're changing anything. Gabe Tatters gets a foul called on him. That was on number 12, Luke
Kijewalski.
Gabe Tatters misses his first shot.
Does look another substitution for the Rams is occurring. 1 coming out for 31.
I'll do this one.
But Gabe Tatters does set up for his second shot.
What does that say?
How do you rally? And Rams have possession of the ball once more, moving up court with it. Looking for a player to pass to, and 12 passes over to 0. 0 does a long shot over to 14. And it seems like the Rams are just passing it back and forth, either looking for a better opening.
And pretty much wasting as much time off the clock as possible, so Mount Pleasant Vikings cannot break down the gap even more. But number 10 passes it to number 14. Number 14 tries for a 3 and makes it. And that was Carter Leary. Ryan with the ball now.
Looking for an open teammate to pass to. And he does try to pass over to Justin Dombrowski, but it was blocked by 0 for the Rams.
Ryan with the ball again. Ryan drives it into Rams territory, tries for Aiden, but it gets poked away by the Rams. The Rams, number 10, smoothly goes through the paint and sinks a 2. Ryan with the ball now gives it to Gabe. Gabe's pass almost gets picked off, but Ryan creates the ball again, and it looks like Ryan traveled.
It's like 31 for the Rams, is going to be putting it in, passing it over to 14. But no substitution is occurring. Looks like for 14, 22 is coming in. Highlands might have also done another substitution. I'm not quite sure who came in or who came out, though. I think 33 came in for someone.
Number 33 with the ball now, passes it to number 22. Finds number 31, which is Trent Bilak.
And Highlands are passing again back and forth between themselves with about a minute left on the clock. Looks like they're killing time more than anything else. One does go for a shot though, but it was blocked. And it looks like Aiden does get the rebound, but a whistle was blown.
Looks like a foul was called on Mount Pleasant, and that will be number 24. That is Aiden Wisniewski, and that is his first foul. Number 0, Chandler Thimpson, misses his first shot, and
Looks like Matt Shrum's coming in for Ryan.
looks like Ryan hurt his ankle. Hopefully he will be okay and just needs the ice.
It looks like another substitution is occurring out on the court right now. For Highlands, 24 coming in for 0, 24 being, I'm not quite sure. Looks like some JV players are getting some starting time. Attempt from the Vikes, but it was no good. Rams getting the rebound and working up court again. With about 50 seconds left on the clock in the fourth period, Rams are probably going to stall for as much time as possible, taking a few shots here and there. But with the Rams being at 70, Vikes at 43, there's not much that can be done in 40 seconds. Rams are passing it still back and forth between each other. Vikes unable to get hold of the ball. And it does look like the Rams are just going to let the clock run out as the court slows down. Everything kind of calms down out there. And they definitely are just letting the clock run out, passing it back and forth between each other. There's not much the Vikes can do.
And the final score is your Rams, your Highland Rams 70 and your Mount Pleasant Vikings 43.
And that is the end of the game. Again, it was Rams 70, Vikes 43, but Mackenzie will be now doing an end of the game interview with Coach Belinsky.
Hello, Coach Belinsky.
Hello, Mackenzie
Uh,
Leader. Is your nickname Red Card?
Really?
We're live, so what's the difference?
How do you rally the team moving forward?
We're in the playoffs. This is a playoff team, caliber team. They're number one in our whole conference of all 4A. So this is one of those times that we know we got to go to what level we got to get up to. We play with them the second and third quarter. We made our runs. They just made bigger runs.
Anything else, Landon?
It's a rough game. I like coach. We'll be able to play with Gobble next Friday night. And they're not gonna make it to the playoffs either. I think we do, but Coach Valencia knows. He's the man. He knows.
Landon, you're the man, brother. I love him.
Well, thank you.
All right, Mac Daddy, Red Car Leader.
We also want to announce our final basketball game, like Landon said, will be next Friday, and we will be broadcasting that, and that will be against Geibel. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will see you next time.
Peace out, Vikes.